Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Hope you are okay on that side of the screen, and today with a really nice company. These two units which are part of a kit called Asus ZenWifi Pro XT12. This is the latest and greatest from Asus, and I'm going to share with you a lot of things, including Wi-Fi coverage and speeds. Talking about speeds, if you are looking for a Windows 10 or 11 Home Edition or Pro Edition key, then don't forget to check out B&H Software, which is a platform that it's really fast. We have been testing it for the past few months and using it for charging keys and activating. Really easy to purchase, really easy to activate, everything legit. So I will leave a link down below just in case you want to check that out. And even we have tested Office 2021, which works really well. Now, this is a mesh Wi-Fi system. We have tested quite a few routers right over here, and I will leave a link for one at least, which is the simplest one on a really budget. So if you feel that these are out of your pocket and these are too much for you, one thing that I would suggest is if you take a look at that router, you might be able to put in a AI mesh, several of those units on a budget, and you will get a great coverage for the price that you have. So if this is too much for you, because in terms of bandwidth, we are talking about 11,000 megabits per second on each of the units. So this is for demanding users with a lot of machines connected to the network. We have multimedia and computers accessing with network attached storage solutions, video editing on the network and things like that, then this is great. But if it's too much, then the other suggestion is great. Now, in terms of design, I just love it because it really goes according to my taste. I really enjoyed the Asus ROG GT 11000, AX 11000, sorry, but it's really aggressive. These right over here are more according to my taste. They have 8 antennas on different directions so that they can get the maximum out of the performance and coverage. One of them has a WAN port and 2.5 gigabit port, one dedicated 2.5 gigabit port, and 2 1 gigabyte ports. It also has a on-off button, reset switch, and WPS. Besides the 2.4 gigahertz, which is really common, it also has 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz. It works on a 3-band automatic, so depending on the device that we have, depending on the technology that our phone, tablet and computer uses, it will select automatically. In terms of the configuration and also the management, I've been using the app from Asus, and honestly I'm one of those that until recently I was more comfortable using a browser in a computer because that was the way that I learned and the way that I was more comfortable. At this moment, honestly, I'm really enjoying the mobile app on Asus devices, especially on routers. It is really simple to use. I can access my routers outside my network without any issues, without port forwardings and things like that. So really nice, and of course with a lot of options. If you are more comfortable with the browser, then there's the option as well. Now let's go for speeds and Wi-Fi range. So let's start here on the office, and I'm inside this small storage area right over here, and the router, one of the units is right over there. So as expected, we are reaching out the maximum of my connection, which is 500 megabits per second on download and 100 on upload. So I was not expecting any less from it. We are talking about 40 square meters right over here. Okay, so here we are on the cinema and also gym area of the basement, and we have a thick wall right over there and also another few walls right over here. We are talking about 80 to 100 square meters more or less, and we are reaching without any issues whatsoever 300 megabits per second on download and 100 of upload. And I usually do a test right over there about 3 or 4 meters away just to see how a balcony would do, but I decided to go right to the end of my backyard right over here. We are talking about more than 20 meters straight ahead, so a great distance. We are talking about more than 200 square meters area, very thick wall right over there, and the results are really great. Now, I'm curious to see the other floors because I did install the second unit on the first floor, and we are going to check that now. So here we are with the second unit on the upstairs floor, and what we are going to do is test out the speed, and let's see the result that we can get. So this one is receiving signal, wow, 500 megabits per second on download. As I was saying, this one is receiving signal from the one below via Wi-Fi, and then is transmitting to our devices, and I'm reaching out the maximum of my connection, which is 500 megabits of download and 100 on upload. Just awesome. Now I'm curious to see the other places right over here, and here we are on the other extremity of the house. The second unit is on this floor, but all over that wall right over there. So we have two walls at least, and we are about 80 to 100 square meters away. And let's do the test. So we are reaching out the second unit here and getting speeds, or really decent speeds right over here. The signal shows that it's nice, and in terms of speeds I'm getting 250s, 260, 270 megabits per second of downloads, and without surprises 100 megabits per second of upload, because the bandwidth is great. So let's test out on the upstairs floor. Okay, so now as you can see we are one floor above the second unit. So we have one unit on a basement, one unit on the ground floor, and this is the first floor, and we are reaching out some great speeds as well. We're talking about 200 and something megabits per second of download, and without any issues I would say 100 of upload, which is the maximum of my upload limit. But I'm really curious because the range is great, the speeds are great. I'm going to do at least one more test. Now I'm at the other extremity of the house on the first floor, and we have reached the limits of capacity. I cannot get a signal right over here. We are really far away. And bam, we are back. So just finished, and honestly I was surprised with one of the tests, which is the test where I have one unit right over here. I've got the second unit on this floor above, and I'm on the ground floor, and I'm doing the test with the unit that is upstairs, which is communicating with the unit that is right here. And usually we have a loss because there's concrete, there's a lot of layers right over here from one floor to the other, and there was no loss between them. So I was reaching the maximum bandwidth of my internet connection, which is just awesome. Probably I was not able to reach, and I did not measure that, but it has 11,000 megabits of bandwidth, 11,000 megabits of bandwidth, so that I was reaching the 11,000 megabits of bandwidth right over here. But probably I was losing something in between right over here, so instead of 11 probably I would only have about 10 or 10 and a half, something like that. But nonetheless, great results. In general, what we can say is that each unit will be able to cover an area like I've got right over here between offices, and then the backyard I'm talking about 250 to 300 square meters without any issues whatsoever with one unit. Of course, I always like to mention that here I only have two thick walls, one thick wall right over there. So this will depend. If your house has more thick walls, expect to have a little bit lower results. If you have less walls, then the results will be better. For someone that has another floor like I do, then great. On the same room we'll have exactly the same as it was connected directly to the first unit. When we go to the other end, then we will lose a little bit, but great speed, so no issues whatsoever. When we go to the where we don't have any other units, then the result was not bad on the room above where the second unit is, but when I go to the other end of the house on the first floor, no signal at all. Now my suggestion right over here in this particular case, if you are on the same situation right over here, I would probably not suggest to get a third unit, because it would be expensive, and probably you will not get the maximum of it, because probably you just want to watch Netflix or things like that, simple things, and you don't need the 11,000 megabits bandwidth. So my suggestion is, one thing that Asus is doing really well is that for the Wi-Fi mesh to work, you don't need exactly the same unit. You can get the budget router that I talked about at the beginning of the video, and then you will be able to put on the floor above that unit, which is a lot cheaper. You will get the signal from this unit, which is on the ground floor, and you will have coverage on the third floor at a budget inside the same Wi-Fi mesh coverage. So that is just a great option in my opinion. And that is it. Hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget that usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on that side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.